Hi, Charles Cherney here. And the question of the day is to buy or not to buy? Let's delve in. So you're out looking, you've finally found a contender or one you think is a contender, and the question has arisen. Are you going to make an offer? Are you going to pursue the house and seek to own it? To buy or not to buy? That is the question. So I think that it's important at the point that you have found a house that you're finding you vibe with, that you check in with yourself on a couple different points to make sure proceeding forward makes sense. And so I just want to touch on three essential points. First is the location. And we get that in a search to buy a home, you may have identified a particular town or towns. Usually people have a sort of a range of locations that they're considering. But when a specific house has caught your eye, you do want to dial down a little bit on the location and make sure you're okay with the specific siting of the house in the neighborhood it finds itself in. Is it on a busy street? Are you good with that? How close is it to its neighbors? What are its light exposures? What are the view lines? Location is not just an address, it's also specifically how a particular house finds itself situated on the block in the neighborhood of the city that you're looking in. So really kind of take measure of the location and make sure it passes the test. How far is it from your office? Is it near your school if you have children that you need to commute to a couple times each day? Is it near family or friends that you want to be close to? What's the traffic like? Look, we get there's all sorts of factors, but you don't want to forget specifically to think about the location as it pertains to a particular address. Number two on the list would be the condition. On the continuum from gut renovation required to move in ready, just renovated, you need to locate yourself and determine what you're comfortable with, right? What's this house require of you? Does it need a new roof, new systems? Or is it just a matter of painting a few rooms? Or do you think for you to make it your home, it's going to need a new kitchen or new bathrooms or whatnot? So the condition of the house obviously is going to play a role in your decision making as to whether you pursue buying it and what your bandwidth is for any improvements or changes that you feel it would need to have made to make it your home. And then I would say number one of these three essential check-ins would be the price. What's the list price? What are you prepared to pay for it? Are you in your financial comfort zone for an offer at this address? Look, it's often the case in a multiple offer situation where bids are coming in over the list price that a bidding war can break out, and then suddenly the purchase price is climbing higher and higher. And how does that work for you? And are you still in your financial wheelhouse on the number? So let's say you're looking up to $1 million and you find a place for 850 and you're in a multiple offer situation. Well, if it's now north of 850, it may still be that the sale price is in your purchase price range. But what if you find, instead of a property for 850, one that's on for $1 million at the top of your range in this example? And now with bidding going north of $1 million, you're sort of pushing what you can comfortably imagine paying. And so, right, it's not just the purchase price, it's the cost of establishing the loan, it's the property taxes, it's the maintenance and upkeep, it's the insurance, right? So, you want to have a clear understanding of your price range and the additional costs associated with purchasing. Look, I understand that if it's the home that you're meant to have, you may push and stretch to get it to win out. But if you're doing that, you need to know what you're doing and what the costs of that decision are, and to make sure you're in a situation financially where you can bear those costs. So the price, gosh, it's really important you get a handle on it. You don't want to be in a situation where you've closed on a house and only then discover you're in over your head. You want to try to take measure of your price range at the point you've decided to pursue a home. We get that people get outbid. It happens, and it's hard to accept that reality, but better to be outbid than to be the winning bid at a number you really can't afford comfortably. And then you're in over your head and you're stressed out and you wish you hadn't, pushed yourself to be in that position. So you need to take stock of the price and what you're comfortable paying. Look, there are other considerations. This may not be your decision alone. Your significant other, if you're looking together, you need to check in together to make sure you're on the same page. And I understand it's no easy feat to find a house that both parties, you and your significant other, are on board with 100%. But if one of the two of you has strong reservations, better to process that up front than to pursue, and then in the middle of an accepted offer, be seeking an exit, or after closing, realizing that it's a problem that you ought to have addressed up front instead of after the fact. So, taking measure of your house search with the person with whom you're searching matters. Now, the kids may want to get a vote and you may take into consideration how they feel, but it may ultimately be the decision of the parties making the purchase in the end. In this regard, if you're getting assistance from family, financial assistance, and you feel that, the approval of the person offering financial assistance is going to be required to go ahead, then seek it. Make sure you have it so you're not surprised after the fact with a resistance to the decision or the purchase. So look, buying a home is not easy. There's no perfect place. There's a list of items that you must have and others that you wish for. But ultimately, in your search, you're going to face this question: to buy or not to buy, to put in an offer or not to put in an offer. And so take measure of the specific location, the particular condition, and the actual price, and make sure you're getting a green check mark for each of these. And if you run into any resistance or red flags, trust your instincts and allow yourself to make an informed decision. Myself and my business partner, Maggie D, we're here to help people buy the right home and sell for the best price in Cambridge, Somerville, and beyond. Reach out by text, telephone, or email if we can help you delve into the question to buy or not to buy. Be in touch. Take care.